Blessings, welcome. So this is just a short insert. I'm going to repost a video that I did yesterday, and I recognized that my rant itself can be pretty much a turnoff for most people, and I get that. There's no judgment. But after rewatching, I found that there was very poignant information and channeling that came in towards the end of that video. And I'm sure many people didn't even get that far because they don't like when I rant. And that's okay. This is part of my alchemy. I go into an energy and I ride it and basically find its root in order to transmute it. And then from there, creation happens after I get through and alchemize that energy. And I recognize that many people don't even get that far because the energy that I'm in, part of my alchemy is I'm learning to be softer and not so harsh and rough around the edges. But in order to work through these densities, I don't want to say I can't. It's just, it's difficult to go into these energies in a soft nature. You have to be harsh because they're harsh energies that we're working through. Okay? And it's the fact of these energies will take you if you can't keep commanding and controlling your space. So I guess within this insert, I'm trying to explain to people because I sense it in the field. I hear the thought forms. I recognize how people perceive me. And there's a lot of very much misjudgment. And there's nothing I can do about that. And that's okay. I will continue to create, I will continue to express, and I will continue to share these channelings, these downloads, these informations that come through. I mean, here's the thing. We're all human at the end of the day. If we are perfect, we would not be living life right now because we're here to learn. We're here to be able to see ourselves more clearly. And yesterday, that gifted me an opportunity to see myself more clearly. And now it's another energy that I can work with and continue to try to hone and master, sometimes tame, within my expressions. So the judgments and the harsh critics, and you know who you are, I thank you on, and that gives me the ability to continue to work on myself and see myself more clearly. So I thank you. So anyway, I don't know, tangents, they happen. The mind just goes. So I'm going to repost this, and I cut out my rant because I recognized it was pretty heavy. And I understand many people don't like that. But the point is, there was, I feel, poignant information that came through at the end of that video. So I'm just going to leave it there. All right? I send you all off with much love and many blessings. Bye. To create that reality, okay? So as a collective mass, we're very good at creating fear timelines, fear propagations, fear storylines, all that. And there are limited amounts of individuals who see beyond those timelines, those storylines, and are creating the higher dimensional frequencies in order to create particular timelines and worlds. Okay? The only way that they can create that is by focusing on self. But in spiritual communities, we're like, oh, well, you're being selfish. Okay, so let's just keep giving. I'm going to give to this person. I'm going to heal this person. I'm helping the collective. I am in service to others. Yet they forget the aspect of self. And we're taught in our spiritual communities that service to self is a negative polarization. And I don't believe that. There are service to self of extremes where they don't consider collectives. They don't consider other people. When you come from the law of one, the mind frame of one source, okay, there is only one. And that one is in service to itself. God's source fractalized and expanded itself in order to experience itself, right? It may not have had the intention of others, because at the point in that nodal seed point, it had no realization that there were other. That's the beauty of it, because when you can get back to that generation, there was no other, because Source had to create and fractalize itself in order to experience itself as other, which then eventually evolved into collective and other beings, which those beings created their own sense of consciousness and awareness and took on as entities of its own. Okay? So anyone that wishes to judge and negate my experience right now, I come from a space of unification, oneness, okay? And if we are one, there is no other. What we perceive as other is actually ourselves. Okay? So when we are focusing on ourselves and trying to better ourselves, to go through our work, to go through our shadow work, to go through our healing, to go through all of this, this is ultimately affecting collectively. Because the more people that come online create pillars of light that create a grid structure and form in which we are pulling down and anchoring as a whole. If we can look at ascension and collective ascension, awareness, things like that, as a biological structure, as cells. We're each cells playing our part within the whole of a living organism in which we call God Source. Okay? And we all have parts to play. We all have specific roles. We have duties. We have things that without us, the organism would not function properly, okay? And we can see this on many levels, and relate ourselves even to cells and organisms within Gaia, within the planet, within the universal structure, within the planetary structures, all of it. It's the generalized idea that you can hold that manifests and plays out in various dimensional forms. And again, it goes from the macro to the micro to the macro, and we are the micro of that macro. And that helps us in whatever thought form, situation, function we are processing through and working with. Knowing the fundamentals of creation allows us to process through these various dimensional frequencies and experiences in order to, no, that's not the word, gather and culminate the fullness of said experience. Okay? All right, so I'm going to leave that there. I just needed to vent and state those certain things. I'm not sure if it makes sense for other people. It makes sense for me. And I am able to work through a process of emotional disruption by communicating and expressing and allowing the energy to speak. Okay? So I'm going to leave that there. I hope it's helpful. I hope it makes sense for other people. And recognize your source. Recognize your oneness. Recognize your pure potential. Recognize that, yes, you are collective. You are the whole. But if you can't see yourself as an individualized aspect within that whole and the part in which you play, we can call that purpose, soul purpose, why you're here in this lifetime, etc., etc., etc. I like to see it as I am a biological function, a cellular structure of a larger organism that is self-organizing in every moment. And I play a part in that. And that's just how I perceive creation and reality and the universe. And I can see those things play out on a macro, within a micro, within my individualized life. And I work with those energies. So, I send you all off with much love and many blessings on your journeys forward. Take care.